The Knicks beat the Detroit Pistons by the score of 113 to 111. And Chris and I are here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel and Chris. And Chris, we just had one of the weirdest endings to an NBA game that I have seen in a while. Give me your takeaways, man. What did you see from tonight's game?
The Pistons played well. Like straight up for me, my biggest takeaway from this was the Knicks aren't outright playing horribly. The Pistons are playing a very good game of basketball right now. The problem was that Monty Williams could not at all seem to figure out what he was doing with his rotations, which is pretty weird when you're nearly 60 games into an NBA season, but it's the Pistons. On the side of the Knicks, to see Dante DiVincenzo play well and not only play well, but shoot as well as he shot was awesome. Brunson looked nice. I mean, the Knicks are depleted, so when they win and their starters play well, it's a really good sign because there's guys on the bench who minutes are going to look different if the Knicks are fully healthy come the playoffs, and it really looks like all of Robinson, Randall, and OG will be back.
So you spoke of Dante DiVincenzo. Is that the MVP of the game that you're gonna give it to?
I mean, he made so many plays. I feel like that steal that he had at the end of the game with around 40 some odd seconds left, where he jumped up, gets the steal, passes the ball to Brunson. Brunson drives into the paint. DiVincenzo goes to the left side wing, spots up. Brunson throws it back to him. Then DiVincenzo hits that three. Knicks, I believe they took the lead on that one.
I think it's between DiVincenzo and Josh Hart.
True.
Yeah, you were saying that DiVincenzo hit some shots. He definitely hit some timely shots, finishing the game with 21 points, 8 of 13 from the field, and 5 of 10 from three, 50%. Not too shabby. Josh Hart, 23 points, of course, hitting that big and one. Even though he missed a couple of his free throws at the end of the game. Listen, man, I don't know. Obviously, I'm happy we caught the W, but I gotta play devil's advocate. It literally down to the wire against the Detroit Pistons, who's the worst team in the NBA. Now, granted, we don't have our players. We don't have Randall. We don't have OG. We don't have Mitch. But first and foremost, this 100% should have been a W. But in the manner that we got this W, it should not have been. We should not have taken this team to the wire. And it shouldn't have been a blown out, but it should have we should have won by at least 10 points, right? It shouldn't have come down to the last literally free throw that we had to get the rebound. More and more games go by, the more and more I'm just like, oh my God, I did not realize what we had in Julius Randle. The more and more games we go. Don't get it twisted though. He's still gonna make stupid ass plays when he's in the playoffs, and he's gonna frustrate the hell out of me, bro.
Don't instantly assume he's gonna play bad. Just go into the playoffs and be like, all right, he hasn't proved anything in the playoffs yet that shows that he could be the second best player on a New York Knicks championship roster. Say they don't get another star, or maybe not the third best player. Say they do get another star.
It's just
he's gonna make stupid mistakes. Let's give him some.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that back. It's not that he's gonna make stupid mistakes. He makes plays that are super frustrating. There's still times where he makes the game a lot more difficult than what it needs to be. But anyway, we're gonna keep this a pro Randall rant, if you will. Yeah, nah, man. These last few games, man, I'm just like, Jesus, man. If we had Randall alone, forget about OG and Mitch. If we had Randall alone, this game would have been, might have been a blowout.
Yeah, obviously I agree. I don't want the Knicks to be beating the Pistons by 2 points. I prefer them to win by 10 times that against the Pistons. But sometimes the Pistons are going to play well. Cade Cunningham looked amazing tonight. And I don't think that's just oh, great job by the Pistons. The Knicks could have played better defense tonight. There were times where there were just open shots. Brunson just left Cade open one time, and Mike Breen, he mentioned that Tibbs was screaming at Brunson for that. There were lazy moments in this game, and I think part of it is one of those things where it's NBA players will openly kind of talk about how not every single game in the 82 season matters. There's a good chance the Knicks went into this one was all right, no one get injured. We know we're better than this skid of losses with one win that we've been on. But we also just blew out the Philadelphia 76ers, who even without Joel Embiid are a good, deep basketball team. So we're fine. Though, yeah, I don't disagree that I'd rather us not win against the Pistons because of, one, a missed call at the end, given the refs were terrible, but also just because we're having to get weird steals and run for a loose ball like this is rugby or something.
Yo, I want to ask you, who are you least confident when you get a Dante DiVincenzo, or when you get a Josh Hart, or when you get a Jalen Brunson going down the lane, and then they literally hand the ball to Precious Achua, or they hand the ball to Jericho Sims to go up for a bunny? Who do you have least confidence in between Precious and Jericho Sims, man? Because tonight, the amount of times I've seen them just like mishandle the ball, I'm just like, yo, like Precious. First of all, I thought we were over this. Like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, okay, I get it. You're new to the team. You're trying to get acquainted to your players. But like now, I'm just like, yo, you're still mishandling the ball. Just grab the ball and go up. Jericho Sims has always been a little iffy. But yeah, man, I was thinking about that in the game. I'm like, this is definitely something I'm gonna ask Chris. Who are you least confident in between Precious Achua and Jericho Sims as far as getting the ball and just going up for a bunny and being able to handle the ball?
I'm way more confident in Precious Achua because look, I knew we were going to end up talking about this because both of us, though especially you, in fairness, historically have not been the easiest on Precious Achua. We've been critical since his first few games with the Knicks here. Then, I mean, the last one of these we did, it was basically centered around how Precious has completely flipped the script.
Yeah.
This game, Precious looked bad, and it's a bummer. The Pistons, they're a big team, though. Usually Precious is the bigger power forward. I think tonight, like, playing up against a big team like the Pistons maybe threw him off. Is that probably a bad sign? Yeah, but also he's allowed to have off days with the way that he's been playing recently. Jericho Sims, I mean, he gave some good minutes in the early part of the game. He subbed in sometime in the first quarter, and that entire rest of the first quarter, he was playing really well. He was playing good defense. He was in the right position. He got some rebounds. He had a solid first quarter. Rest of the game, it was just standard Jericho Sims stuff. He's fine for a backup center until Mitch gets back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. God, those two guys, yo, like, please, I just want the utmost confidence that if Jalen Brunson goes down the lane, and like if I see a glimmer of like sunlight where he could just like put the ball in between the arms of the defense, I just want to be able to be like, that's an automatic 2 points for Jericho Sims and Precious Achua. And I'm still not there yet. And I'm like so frustrated because like I feel like if we had those bunnies, then we wouldn't have gone down to the wire against this team. But yeah, I mean, you make a good point where Pressure's going up against some pretty big bodies. And you said this a little earlier. You were talking about Cade Cunningham and how he had a really good game tonight. Yo, the Detroit Pistons, obviously this is a Knicks YouTube channel, not a Pistons YouTube channel. But my 2 cents on the Pistons is they have talent. They definitely have talent. Cade Cunningham, former Knicks, Quentin Grimes, and Evan Fournier. Jalen Duren, I believe it's Jalen Duren, the big man who's only 20 years old. He looks like he's freaking 35. He's gonna be a problem, bro. Just like Alan Hahn was saying during the telecast, he is a physical specimen, and if he puts it together, bro, he's gonna be a problem.
The Pistons are solid, and I said this even during the game. I texted my Knicks group chat about this, like, yo, the Pistons are not the worst team in the NBA. Like,
talent. I get it. Yeah.
Over the Wizards. This team has real talent, and Cunningham has shown that not only is he become a very solid building block, he's playing like he should have been the first overall pick that year. That was not always the case, and this year he's really been balling out. He's led the team nicely, and the Pistons, they genuinely looked decent tonight. Like, they didn't look like this 8-49 team.
Yo, why were they booing Evan Fournier that much? Like Mike Breen mentioned in the telecast, and he said like he doesn't understand why the crowd is booing him. Like all he did was be professional when he was in the doghouse, basically the entire last season and a half. And like, yeah, he brings up a good point. Like, why were they booing him so bad? I have no idea. Do you know why?
I think it's the culture of basketball we live in and how it's full of recency bias. And because of that, people have seen Fournier not play. And then they saw him leave the Knicks, and who knows, maybe they heard when Fournier said that he was happy to be out of New York, even though he wasn't even saying that negatively towards the Knicks. He was just literally on the New York Knicks, and he said, I'm happy to be out of there because I wanted to play.
Yeah, he didn't like
And
dog us. He didn't dog the organization or anything. Like I feel like
it had nothing to do with us. All he said that he was happy to no longer be on the team he was on, which happened to be us, because he wanted to get minutes and he wasn't on the Knicks. And Tibbs said that it's no shade or anything like that. So
no.
I don't know. That kind of upset me because it felt like it was pointless
Facts.
to boo Evan Fournier. He didn't do anything wrong at all. If anyone did anything wrong, it's the Knicks for as long as they kept him. That's kind of a trash move to do to a player. And I understand he made $17 million. He's made a ton of money off the New York Knicks. By the end of this season, he'll have made a life's long amount of money from the Knicks. But also at the same time, there's now a real chance that his NBA career can become more in jeopardy because there's no way the Pistons accept this team option. And then he's going to probably not have the most suitors in the world because he's hardly played basketball over the last 2 years.
I think he'll find he always finds a team. Like he's always on those like 1 year deals or whatever. He'll find a team. He was on Boston once when it was Tatum and Brown. I think they eliminated Brooklyn in the first round. They swept them 4-0. I remember that. He was on that team. Of course, when Coach Tibbs has a player or two in the doghouse, i.e. Fournier, and even though Quentin Grimes had the meaningful rotational minutes, of course, when they get traded and then they come back to the Garden, they show us what they're like. Oh, you actually have this in your game? Like Quentin Grimes tonight, one of his last points, he drove to the rim and like the aggressiveness that he was attacking the rim, and he had a right-handed floater and it was like high off the glass. I'm like, I kind of knew you had that in your game, but I'm like, damn, I wish I saw it a little bit more. He's super athletic. So I don't know, man. Coach Tibbs, he just likes his players to play in a certain system. So I don't know if that's a knock on Coach Tibbs, but I'm glad we got the W against the Detroit Pistons. Shout out to Fournier and Quentin Grimes. Thank you for your service. But yo, I wanted to bring this up to you. So in the last couple videos that I posted, I was talking about the next 5 upcoming games for the Knicks, and the next 5 upcoming games started with that Philadelphia 76ers game, which I believe was like last Thursday, where we ended up blowing them out. Awesome. Then we lost to the Boston Celtics. I mean, granted, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference, arguably in the NBA. So I think we all kind of knew that. And obviously, we don't have all of our bodies. So that wasn't really much of a surprise. Tonight, in the video that I posted, I did say that this should be an automatic W. It ended up being a W, but we already talked about how much we didn't like how they really finished off the game. But the next 2 games, which will finish off the 5-game schedule, we got the Pelicans coming into town, Zion, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, the whole crew. And then Thursday, we got Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors coming into the Garden. So I want to pick your brain. The next 2 games against the Pelicans and the Warriors, what's your record? What do you got?
I'm so inclined to just say 1-1 because I can't see the Knicks losing 2 games. I think the Pelicans can give them some trouble because clearly what the Knicks struggle against right now are teams that have a lot of big bodies. The Pelicans have a couple bigger guys. Brandon Ingram's been historically good against the Knicks. There's not really a perfect Knick right now without Anunoby there to guard Brandon Ingram. So I think he could do really well. And same thing with Zion. I guess Precious will be solid enough, but it's still worrisome because it's a tough test for him. But again, I think Ingram's going to have a just open season on the Knicks because Josh Hart's a lot smaller than him. I think the Pelicans game will be tough for the Knicks. If you gun to my head, I'm going to say the Knicks end up losing that game. I think they'd beat the Warriors just because Brunson has been better than Steph Curry this year. To anyone who wants to say otherwise, I'm not saying Brunson's better than Steph Curry all time or anything. I'm saying as of today, February 26th, Jalen Brunson is better than Steph Curry. And yeah, that could change, but as of today, that is who's better this season. And
the Warriors have been playing pretty good lately, though. They have been. Kuminga, and also when Kerr finally put Klay Thompson on the bench, they really found something. I'm not saying they're gonna win a title, but I think we could go 0-2, which really sucks. Man, damn, man, those bodies that we're missing, bro. I'm just getting a little worried because first of all, we don't have 40 games until the playoffs. The All-Star break happens at when we have 28 games left or whatever. So
it's like a 2/3 thing.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not a lot of time until the playoffs, and then you got to take into account that when they do come back, they got to get their stamina up, they got to get their conditioning up, they got to get reacquainted with the offense. Like Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, I think it's gonna be right down to the wire. So I mean, we'll see. But as far as the next 2 games, yeah, I could definitely see us going 0-2, unfortunately. But as far as if we were to get a W, damn, I don't even know, man. The Pelicans, I haven't really been watching the Pelicans. I've seen highlights. The Warriors, I've been paying attention to a little bit. If we were to get a W, I think it'll be against the Warriors rather than the Pelicans, but we'll see.
I could see it going either way. Also, it could really be any of 2-0, 1-1, 0-2. That's how the Knicks kind of have been this with this current roster of none of our starting front court.
Right.
But we're gonna have to see. Games are coming up. It'll be very exciting to watch, and we will definitely keep y'all updated. So comment down below what you thought of tonight's game, what you thought of Jalen Brunson going off tonight. Josh Hart, best game of his season too. Huge moment. Hart's bouncing back. Great for the New York Knicks. Let us know what you guys think down below. Like this video, subscribe to Knicks Digest, and me and Dariel. Maybe we'll talk about his basketball career one day. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? It's up to you. But yeah, have a good day, guys. Go Knicks. Taj Gibson for president.
Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs.
Oh, yeah, true.
We out.
Gotcha.